Have you ever seen a caterpillar with wings? Not a butterfly, but both a caterpillar with wings. No, you haven't. And you know why? Because a caterpillar must completely surrender to itself in order to fully become a butterfly. Let's talk about how we transform in today's episode. Let's go. Welcome to Phoenix Rising, a superior podcast for all of your transformative tools for personal and spiritual growth. Let's go get that nugget. Hey guys, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope you are taking flight with ease. If you're not taking flight with ease, and it is my intention that in today's episode, I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. I love talking about the transformation of the caterpillar to the butterfly. I love telling stories about it. I love using that analogy. And though I keep educating myself, I'm constantly reading, constantly studying. I reread books. And just this past October, I think I mentioned already that my level of fully understanding energy in the universe and how like our subconscious and our conscious works to create our lives has gone like really deep into my spirit and into my soul. Like I am fully aware now, even more so than before. And before October, I would have called myself an expert. And even now I'm a full embodiment. And I don't know if you fully know what that means, but it is like, it's like the download has been complete. It dropped into my emotional state. And I immediately start applying these tools and techniques. And so I want to share with you on a deeper level what surrender means. I've talked about it a lot. I've mentioned it a couple times. I mentioned my story about it and what it meant to me and how it felt when I would hear that, or I would get a book and it would be in there, that I would like skip that chapter. Surrendering to me was a sign of weakness. Well, today I want to talk about it fully and give you some really good tools and techniques in hopes that it will drop down for you as well. Long ago, when I would hear about surrendering, you have to, surrender to, it was all kinds of, whatever religion, spirit, source, universe. And I'm like, God, I just can't. Like, I have to control things. Well, as Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? And it wasn't working very well. My life was not working. But I didn't like that idea. I didn't like what surrender meant. And I think at this point, I didn't really know what it meant. It sort of meant like surrender, like waving the white flag, like giving up. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't give up on my dream or this task or, moving the physical around. Like I have to keep doing that. Well, basically I have to keep being human. And if you keep being human in the majority of your experience, and I just mean trying to manipulate people and trying to force things to happen, you're going to be pretty frustrated. And if you're listening to this, you're probably frustrated in some area of your life. Well, just this last August, and between like August and October of this last year, things have really deepened for me and for Amy and for Cameron. And it's been really exciting to see all of these transitions happen at the same time. So first of all, I'm trying to build my business and trying to kind of find my purpose. And I'm a little bit lost and I'm in this like transitional period, right? And so I'm like trying to figure that all out. Amy is trying to lose weight and trying to get her health under control so she can feel better. Cameron decided academics and sports are really important, decided to go to a bigger public school. And so we all kind of entered this transitional stage at the same time. And now here we are in January. Amy has lost 56 pounds. I have found my purpose, like really deepened my knowledge and my awareness of energy work, and really have kind of like lit my life on fire in this way that's percolating this new idea in the new way that I'm going to do business. And Cameron has dove headfirst into embracing health. like health and hygiene. And he'll be 16 next week. So he's a January birthday. So he started this when he was 15. 15-year-old boys don't usually have this awareness. They don't usually come home and say, okay, Mom and Jen, I think I need a little bit more focus on academics and sports. And so I would like to go to this other high school. So he went from where the high school from 9th to 12th grade had, less than 200 kids to a school 9th to 12th grade that has about 1,300 kids. So it was a big jump for him in size and holy moly, size of school, how many kids, but also the availability of things. So anyway, he has really dove into taking care of himself on the inside, the outside. He's working out, 5 days a week. He's playing baseball and they have like these pre-workouts. He's getting up at 4:30 in the morning to go to school to have these pre-baseball season workouts, as well as a weightlifting class. And he has really changed his diet, his outlook, his perspective. He comes to me the other day and he goes, "Hey, Jen, do you have any or personal development books?" And I look at him sideways. He goes, I know you do. And I'm just like, yeah, about 400 like physical copies. And of course, as I am out and about looking for books, I buy books for him as well, like teenagers and young kids, to be able to start tapping into your inner awareness. And these kids this age, because meditation is right at your fingertips, they're going to start waking up a lot faster than we did. And our waking up process might happen when we're in our 40s. As if you're listening to this, I'm 52, that our waking up process, mine started earlier, but people didn't hear about meditation. They didn't hear about manifesting, energy work, chakras. Like, what are you talking about? And because now this is really sweeping the nation and so many people are aware, and now it's like the parents are a part of this in their 40s and 50s. Well, their kids are a part of it too. And so now the kids are 10, 12, 15 years old and are already starting to wake up. When I was 10, 12, and 15, I didn't know anything from anything. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how to describe how I was feeling, or that I was intuitive, or that I was practicing manifesting. I had no idea what to call any of that. So anyway, it has been quite a journey. And but we've between the three of us, we have really deepened our knowledge about what we're doing in this transitional state that we're in. And so what I want to talk about today is the art of surrendering, but in a different way that maybe you haven't heard of before. You've heard me tell the story about the butterfly, or the caterpillar. He's on the tree branch and he's just eating the same old leaves and he's really bored in life, and he just kind of has this calling, and he sees this garden with all these flowers and he's like, I just want to go down there. Like, I want to be able to get down there, and I don't know how to get there. And he sees this butterfly, and this butterfly comes up and lands on the branch next to him. He's just down in the garden in the flowers, and he comes up and lands next to him, and he's enjoying life, right? And the caterpillar's like, I want to get down in that garden. He's like, well, you can. You just have to basically visualize yourself going to that garden. You have to go inside. And he's like, inside? And he's like, yeah, you have to basically transform yourself from a caterpillar to a butterfly. You're going to grow wings, and you'll be able to go down to the garden and have this total freedom like I do. And he's like, well, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to give up. Or here's one I hear, it's like, well, every time I meditate, I fall asleep, or I've tried and it doesn't work for me. And so then the butterfly's like, okay. He's like, you have a choice. You can spend your life as a caterpillar, or you can surrender the caterpillar state, step fully into becoming a butterfly. And next thing you know, you'll be down in that flower garden with me. And so he flies off and goes back down into the flower garden. And the caterpillar's like, I've tried meditation and I don't really know where to start, and I don't really know how to focus. And every time I do, I get distracted. And every time I do, I fall asleep, or I can't sit still, or I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start, all these excuses. So time goes by and he keeps seeing this butterfly landing on the flowers. And he just keeps thinking, he's like, dang it, like, I really want to do this. And then all of a sudden it drops into his soul that he is meant for something greater. He's meant for this transformation. And so he sits on this branch and he starts to go inward. He starts to focus his awareness inside. He starts visualizing wings. He starts visualizing the flower garden and being a part of all of that sweet nectar and all the variety of colors and flowers that are there available to him. And then all of a sudden he is cloaked with a chrysalis, a beautiful green chrysalis with gold droplets. And he sits in that space, that meditation, that quiet until he is birthed as a new transformed being. Until he breaks free of that chrysalis with wings, transformed forever, surrendering the caterpillar for the butterfly. Now, in the very beginning, I asked, have you ever seen a caterpillar with wings? And the answer is no, because you'll never see a caterpillar with wings, because in order to be a butterfly, you have to surrender the caterpillar. So let's go back to the three of us, where Cameron had to surrender the person before that didn't exercise or didn't work out or didn't eat well. Amy had to surrender the person who was overweight, the person who was never going to lose weight or was never going to be healthy. And I had to surrender this lack of direction and purpose, this person who thought that, oh gosh, I think I'm lost. I had to surrender. We all had to step out of that person, those beliefs, that story, and into a newer, higher, elevated version of ourselves. The caterpillar had to let go of being the caterpillar, had to let go of the identity of being the caterpillar to step fully into being something better. We had to let go. That is the art of surrendering. So think about that for a minute. Wherever you are in your life, whatever you are experiencing, whatever version of yourself that isn't working is outdated. It's, every time I open this recording platform, the software that I use to record my podcast, I swear every single time I open it, it says a new update is available. Version 4.3.1, update now. And of course I update, right? Because something is new, something is better. So that's us. We have to update our stories, our beliefs, our concepts of ourself, our vision for our future, our language, did I say stories already? We have to update that version. And we don't do that. We become adults and we go, okay, this is it. Here's my life. I got this career. I got this house. I have these kids. I got this wife or this husband. I've got this car. I've got all this stuff. My life is no. And then somewhere in there, you're like, what is going on inside? Like, why am I unhappy? What is happening? And right there, you're getting the message to keep going. You are constantly ascending until the second you take your last breath. Whether it's 84, 18, 39, whatever, whenever you take your last breath, you are constantly ascending, meaning you are constantly going up like the hot air balloon. And in order to go, you have to surrender things. You have to let go of things. You have to let go of stories that no longer serve you. Like I've said before, you have to let go of the identity of being in a diaper so you can be independent in the bathroom. You have to let go of the identity of the kid who crawls to the kid who walks, to the kid who walks and runs, to the kid who drives, to the person who's single, to the person who's married, to the person who doesn't have kids, to a person who does have kids, right? You have to constantly ascend. And it actually, those developmental stages in the whole scope of your life, by the time you're 25 or 30 years old, you have gone through many, many, many developmental stages because it's easy. It makes sense. You go from first grade to second grade. You go from seventh grade to eighth grade. You go from a non-reader to a reader. You go from someone who doesn't drive to a person who does drive. And you constantly go through the stage. And what do young people have? Most of them, they have ease, flow. They have energy. They're happy. They're consistent. They're growing. And they don't even know it. It's just this natural thing. Well, somehow when we turn the corner of 30 years old or something, all of a sudden we think we don't have to go anymore. We pick this career that we're going to have for 45 years. We pick this spouse we're going to have for the rest of our life. We have these kids, we have this house, we have this money, and then we don't go anymore. And then what do we start attracting? We start attracting disease, dis-ease. We're not going with the flow anymore. Just like the pressure that builds up when you start to dam the water, when you start to block the flow of the river, what starts to build up? If you kink the hose and the water's turned on, what builds up right before the kink, between the faucet and the kink? Pressure. Where do you feel pressure in your body? We think that we just should not feel good in our body because we're getting, quote, older. Well, that's wrong. We're feeling the pressure in our body because we're not going with the flow, because we're not going with the ascension. We're stopping the kink somewhere. We're like, oh, I don't need to get a new job, or that's going to be really hard, or I can't travel. I don't have time, or I'm frustrated with my kids, or I'm frustrated with my spouse, or whatever. It's like we are constantly changing, adapting, growing. And when we don't go, we feel the pressure. It has nothing to do with age. It has to do with accumulation. It has to do with accumulation. It has to do with how many times in my life have I not gone with the flow. And now that builds up, and now I have back pain. I have kidney disease. I have heart disease. I have high blood pressure. I have pain. I have stiffness. I have arthritis. I have osteoporosis. I have some cardiovascular disease, right? I have a pulmonary embolism. What you have is a non-flow state. You have an energy of stagnation. So what do we need to do? For one, and I'm going to say this until the day I die, you have to meditate. And that meditation is only going inward and starting to become a part of the energy within. Amy has started a coaching business. She's a health coach. And she's lost 56 pounds, and she's now sharing this journey with other people and helping those people lose weight and start to choose healthy eating and healthy lifestyle. Well, on top of a full-time job. And so she's super, super busy, and she's like dealing with a lot of where Amy, I'm having a hard time getting organized. I'm really overwhelmed. It feels like a lot of chaos. It feels like I'm really working hard. And so I said, okay, you need to create some space. Let's create some space. So take a breath, take a deep breath, get grounded, get in your body, create space, go inward, and just try to find your heart through your awareness. Where would you bring your awareness if I said, go find your heart? And she goes in, and I said, can you feel or see or sense your heart beating? And she's like, no. I said, okay, then keep focusing inward. I said, when you take a deep breath and you feel the air coming into your lungs, I said, focus right there. Hold your breath right at the top and focus your energy and your awareness right there at the top of your lungs. And all of a sudden she goes, oh, I got it. I said, okay, now stay there. Oh, I lost it. I said, okay, bring it back. Bring your awareness back. Now feel into it. Now just be there. And then she goes, as soon as I could do that, then all of a sudden I felt like this opening, she said. It's like this, I could feel it in my heart, this big expansive space. And then all of a sudden it like dropped down into my body. It's like the floor dropped out kind of. And she's like, and it just created this space. And I said, that is a creative space right there. So if you want to begin, that's where you start. You start with grounding. You start with closing your eyes. You start with sitting down and getting the body to sit still for whatever length of time you decide to set the body down. And you decide. And then you just keep doing that. You just keep going inward. And you go inward to the point of feeling and sensing the energy within and feeling that expansion. Now, what do you do when you get in there? Now you start visualizing. You can start adding this avatar. If you've heard me talk about it before, it's just the new version of you. If you want more money, a new relationship, wherever you're not in the flow, where you're not going, you want to lose weight, then you have to visualize the person who has lost weight. You have to visualize the healthy version of you. This is you working with the energy of the conscious and the subconscious mind. Everything happens, your whole life experience happens within you. It happens at the emotional level. So now we need to use our mind and our thoughts and our beliefs and our stories and our words and our vocabulary to manage our emotions on purpose. with purpose. So if I want to become a 6-figure business owner, if I want to become a well-known coach, then I need to I need to let go of the caterpillar and step into the butterfly. If I want to lose 50, 60, 100 pounds, I need to let go of the person who has these stories and step fully into a person who talks different, who acts different, who eats different, who exercises, who has energy, who has a different concept of herself or himself. If I want to have something, I need to be something. Notice that we are called human beings. We're not called human doings. And you know why we're not called human doings? Because you wouldn't be creating. You literally would still be 38 years old and still in a diaper and not being able to walk. But we're called human beings. So when you're, 9, 10, 12 months old, and you see all these people for a year walking around, in your mind, you become, as a 12-month-old, you start visualizing yourself as somebody who walks. Then you visualize yourself as somebody who drives. Then you visualize yourself somebody who is married, educated, has kids, has a house, has a certain amount of money and career. And as you do that, you become that person. But you must do it first inside your head. So you have to surrender to the person that you are right now to become the person that you want to be. So everything that you want, whether it's more money, a better car, a better house, a spouse, better kids, whatever it is that you're standing here right now going, my life would be so great if I could have blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever that desire is, immediately put yourself in that desired state to say, this is who I would have to become in order to have that thing. And then that's when you create the avatar, you create that being. And then when you have that, you sit down in that quiet space and you focus on your heart until you feel your heart open. Then you install that new being. We are called human beings. So in order to create, we must become. In order to create, we must elevate ourselves. We must surrender ourselves. We must let go of being the caterpillar to open up to be the butterfly. So what are you going to do now? What are the next natural steps for you? What did you hear from this episode today? How are you going to align with your vision? How are you going to align with that desire? Because you have the power, and only you have the power within you. I've been hearing that for years. Everything you need is inside you. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Now I fully understand. I fully understand how our conscious mind and subconscious mind works together in energy to manifest. I'm like, oh my God, like that download is complete. And it's taken 25 years or more for that download to happen for me. Every book, every course, every blog, every video, oh my God, I can't even tell you. Every retreat, every event, everything that I went to put all these puzzle pieces together, which is like a 10,000 piece puzzle. Then now I got it. And now I'm giving it to you. And I want you to listen to what I'm telling you. If you want to create something, if you want to change something, if you want something to be better, if you want more of something, you have to become that something. So I encourage you to take some notes in this moment to say, okay, here's what she said. Here's what I'm going to do, and then do it. Today's the day for you, my friend, to become a butterfly. Thank you for listening. If you liked that episode, please subscribe, like, and write a review. Let me know how that landed with you. If you'd like to support this podcast, please check out in the show notes where you could buy me a chai tea, or you can join my newest podcast membership for exclusive episodes, guided meditations, and transformative exercises that you won't find anywhere else. For more transformational tools, techniques, and programs, check out my website, theenrichmentacademy.com. Bring your journal, open your heart, and let's get ready for some serious transformation.